Period.
Energy flowing. So I am Gabby and I am a writing coach for aspiring writers. But before I introduce my bestie here, I want to tell you that we've been co-creating stuff together for like a decade. And if you see when we start these lives, we're like moving or we're playing some music. Like this has been our ritual since day one. Anytime we start doing something, we start moving our body. Like it just happens. It's like not even something that's premeditated. It's like literally how we get in the mood. For whatever we're creating together. Anyway, I'll let her introduce herself.
I'm Jamie Nolan, and I'm a life and business coach and the founder of the Anima Collective. And it's true, like you gotta like shift the energy in what you're doing and like get it going in a different direction. So, what is our question today?
Well, the interesting thing about this broadcast, I don't know what channel you're currently watching it on, but it's currently being broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and then I've been repurposing it and putting it on my Substack blog. And interestingly enough, that's where we've been getting most of the engagement and the comments on my side. We're getting a lot of fabulous people writing in, and we already talked about one of those amazing comments. We did get another comment that was really interesting. And so I thought we might jump into that today. We had a writer write in saying that, and this was in response to me talking about how anger motivates me. She said that she realizes that being irritable is uncomfortable for her because she feels like she doesn't have the right to feel agitated or annoyed. Like it makes her spoiled or ungrateful. And so I know you have strong feelings about this. It's something that you've worked on a long time. So I'll let you go first.
Oh, yeah, I have. I worked on this a long time. I have a very hard time having other people be uncomfortable. Like I can be uncomfortable. I will go out of my way in discomfort to make other people comfortable. And like something a therapist said to me probably like 15 years ago at this time, she was like, well, like, does the other person have to be happy? Like we were talking about like dishes and like household chore things. And she was saying, does your husband need to be happy to do it? And I said, yes. And she said, are you happy doing it? And I said, no. And then she stared at me like this. And I was, damn it. And it's gotten me that the last 15 years of my life have been like, this thought has come up over and over again as I've gotten older and older. And more recently, it's come up a lot. It's like, how much discomfort do I allow into my life? And how uncomfortable do I allow others to be? And the answer is still like, this is a big work in progress, right?
And I feel like I trigger you on this sometimes.
All the time.
That's like, I'm thinking of a time where I was like going to the airport and I was traveling with a friend, and the friend had to kind of go a little bit out of her way to pick me up. And initially she had said no, she didn't like the traffic in the area. And I was like,
wait, it also included her daughter, which was the other piece of it. It was like the daughter was taking the mom to the airport, and then they were going to have to go out of their way to get you. And this triggered the fuck out of me, and I don't know why.
Yeah. And I was like, I said to the friend, when the friend was like, that's kind of inconvenient, I was like, that's okay, you can come get me. And you were like, you were like mortified that I
was. And the feeling in me, like the logistical piece of my brain, which is the most over-functioning side of my brain, was like, oh, well, you could take the different train, and you could take, instead of taking the Bright Line, you could take the Metro Rail. And if you did that, then you would end up here. And then
like supporting yourself to solve
the mental gymnastics that I was doing, because I was uncomfortable with you making someone else uncomfortable. This had nothing to do with me. What am I doing? But the idea of it was like interesting, because I did stop mid conversation. I was like, why am I so like, I was so aware of how triggered I was by it. And it was such an interesting space of like, what are you not allowing, right? This woman wrote in about being irritable. And she said in the thing, I will like isolate myself. She's like, I'll like take myself into a room and like verbally like all like vomit out all of the things,
or cry,
and then feels like, and then cries, and then feels bad about it. And it's like, well, maybe those people were irritating. Maybe like, it's like, are you allowed to have that feeling publicly? And are you allowed to
I've been
be
working
in
on
that.
this recently. We don't have much time left, but I do think this is important to share. I have a client that's working on a book, and the client told me from the beginning, like, I'm on a really intense emotional journey, and I'm in the practice of learning to listen to myself, honor myself, and advocate for myself. So that means sometimes I'm going to cancel on you. Sometimes I'm not going to be able to show up. I want you to know that and kind of decide whether or not you want to work with that. And I was so impressed. I was really proud of her. And it's continued to come up over the last couple of months of us working together. But because we set that up in the beginning as like, this is a practice where it's about honoring her, self-advocacy and self-awareness, I was okay with that. We like to kind of maintain the consistency of our appointments and our schedule and stuff, but like this kind of trumped it. And I really wanted to kind of respect and honor that that's the journey she was on. And like, when she gets to the other side of that, she's going to be so strong and so unstoppable. I just think it's a beautiful part of aging and maturing in general.
I loved also the thing that she said, like, I might say yes and then later need to say no. And I was like, the guilt within my own crazy head is like, if you said you're gonna do it, you have to do it forever. And I'm like,
which is why you're married and I'm not. Okay, on that note. On that note, if you liked this, then give us a thumbs up or comment or share. Again, we're broadcasting in many, many places. So you can participate and engage in many, many places. And we love sharing our silly stories and our insights with you. So we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.